you considered the messages your outfits send? What do you think your clothes say about you? See, style is about the clothes, but it's not really about the clothes. Every day you make choices about what you're going to wear, but what are you communicating? Welcome to Above and Beyond Style. I'm your host, Maria DiLorenzo, and in 2019, I founded MFD Style, where I provide a unique, intuitive approach to personal styling for those ready to embrace a more meaningful look. With this podcast, I'll uncover key elements of where spirituality, psychology, and style intersect, revealing how you can make intentional wardrobe choices that reflect who you really are. So let me ask you, are you ready to transform into your authentic self? Then it's time. Come with me on this journey, and together we'll take your style above and beyond style. Hey everyone, welcome back to Above and Beyond Style. This week I really wanted to talk to you about a theme that has been kind of percolating in my mind for a while now. So you know the saying, say what you mean to say? Well, it occurred to me that it may just be as important, or maybe even more important, to wear what you mean to say. And that sort of feels like it encompasses basically everything I think this podcast is about. Thinking about the messages that our wardrobes send and how to really leverage some of those choices in a way that it is communicating clearly, one, how we feel about ourselves, and two, how we want to show up in the world. So I want to unpack this a little bit deeper because I don't know if many of you think about wardrobe in this way. And I've had family and friends and colleagues sort of all reflect back to me about like, I don't know if I've ever really thought about the messages that my wardrobe sends, or the choices of the clothing that I make and how that might be communicating something to someone else. And for me, it was kind of revelatory that, well, for me, I guess maybe I'm an anomaly here because I think a lot about clothing, obviously, but also sort of the deeper level meaning of what do these wardrobe choices say? And how can we be really intentional about what we want them to say? So not that this has to be this really profound, heavy, right? Like a million more decisions you have to make every day. And now you have to come up with a wardrobe choice that reflects you all day long, right? But it really harkens back to something for me that is kind of at the core of why personal style and wardrobe is important to me. And I think it really has to do about how well I know myself and how well and how in tune I am with how I'm feeling or how I want to show up in the world or the things that I might need to really reflect my most authentic self in the world. And as I get older, this process of sort of uncovering who I am feels more exciting and more interesting. Maybe when I was in my 20s or even in my 30s, I didn't spend as much time sort of, what was that about? How am I doing? What do I need right now? And sort of that introspective process about how I could have engaged my wardrobe in a different way as it connects to sort of my feelings and emotions. So I know it sounds perhaps, I don't know. I think in the end of the day, for me, it really had to do about my own self-discovery and really getting more comfortable in my own skin and being more connected to the emotions and feelings that I had in any given moment. And what did I really need out of that to go forward? And so, again, when you're faced with these choices each day about what should I get dressed in? What sort of clothes should I put on my body today? It feels important to me that you maybe spend 30 seconds, heck, even 15 seconds, just sort of checking in with yourself a little bit about like, how am I doing? How am I feeling? Do I need something today? Am I hoping for something today? Is there an emotion or something that's sort of rising to the surface that I need to pay attention to today? And however you answer that question, perhaps that can help inform how you want to get dressed. So let me give you a little example. Let's say you're going to meet a new friend. And in this virtual world, there are plenty of people in my life that I've never actually met in person because of COVID, we've perhaps just had sort of this virtual relationship. We've maybe seen each other on Zoom, but we haven't been in each other's physical presence. And so I met up with a friend, and I was really thoughtful about, like, we were already friends, right? We've already had connections and conversations and mutual sharings and laughing. And so I knew that there was a balance there about, our connection point. But I also wanted to go into the experience of actually meeting her in person with a sense of excitement and perhaps creativity, because we do similar work. And so I wanted to be able to maybe, share some ideas or do a little brainstorm or just sort of hear about her own creative endeavors in this moment. So I checked in with myself a little bit before we met and just said, like, what do I want to wear today that helps me feel like I can, one, show up as my most authentic self, because that's who I want to present to her and anyone else that I, come into connection with. And also, like, what do I need to feel at ease in my own self so that I can be creative or that I can share maybe some ideas with her? So when it came down to it, it was a really simple equation of what the outfit looked like for me, because I'm really clear on what really feels like me and how did I want to communicate me to her. And that's what I mean about the authenticity part, that I got to be really selective in my choices of my wardrobe so I could use them to my advantage and really then help me to have that sort of calm and excitement and free kind of headspace that I needed to be able to engage with her in this first meeting. So if you're curious, what I put on that day was just some dark jeans, one of my favorite long sleeve button down blouses by Classic 6. I will talk about Classic 6 at length another time if you'd like me to. It's a beautiful, independent, woman-owned brand based out of New York. They have so many gorgeous pieces. My first was this button-down white blouse, sort of a tunic-length blouse. And it's made impeccably. The design, the creativity of sort of how it can be so versatile and functional, like, really speak to me. So it's like one of my favorite pieces in my wardrobe. So I knew I wanted to wear this blouse. And then, if you know me, I have a very deep and wide collection of cream or off-white sweaters. I just love how they look, how they feel. There's something really cozy about them. I feel a little brighter, a little sharper, but also really soft and gentle in them. So it's a funny thing to notice about yourself when you can step back and say, yeah, that's a Maria outfit in my mind. So I put this cream sweater over this button down. I have sort of a classic or preppy vibe to my look. I always talk about my style as being a little classic with the flair. Like, there's always something a little interesting about the pieces that I select, but they tend to be pretty classic and traditional in their fit or in the way that I wear them. So anyway, I knew this outfit was sort of like the perfect me outfit, and that I wanted to be able to show up so that I could really communicate my most authentic self to my new friend. And so that's what I'm talking about when I say be super selective in your choices. And it's also an opportunity for me as an entrepreneur and a business owner that I could also use this as a chance to really communicate about my brand and about who I am as a personal stylist who really wants to be intentional about my wardrobe choices and to be thoughtful about what they say about me. So it's important for me to share that with you, because I do think the whole concept of wearing what you mean to say can really help us in a lot of different aspects of our lives. And from the personal to the professional, really thinking about all the things that we do on any given day, but that the messages that we want to communicate really can be our choice. And then I think when we take the time to sort of maybe get quiet for a second and sort of check in with ourselves about who am I, what am I feeling today, how do I feel today, what do I need to show up today as me, as my most authentic me. I think some of those choices then can be just sort of an extension of who we are. And so it's like when you walk in the room, you feel confident, you feel at ease, and you also are really, more certain that you're communicating your brand and who you are from a really grounded place. So it's not about necessarily imitating someone else. It's really about being intentional about the message that you want to send about you. And I say this a lot as a stylist that, when I work with my clients, my goal is not about to have them dress like me, right? Like I have a particular style and a particular preference, but it's not the only one, and it's not the most important one. It's my job to help you and anyone else uncover what it is to dress like you. And when some of those things come into more clarity, I think the decision then about what to wear and wearing what you mean to say just becomes easier. It's sort of like you're in the flow process and you're able to really connect with, well, what is a me outfit? And when I want to show up as me, hopefully in all aspects of your life, you can then draw from that from your closet. And this also makes me think about, I think a lot of folks struggle with perhaps like a couple different identities, quote unquote, in their wardrobe. And in some ways that's functional and purposeful depending on your lifestyle and sort of how and where you need to be present and what you do. But I also think there's something about kind of creating some synergy in your closet about you and sort of being unapologetic about who that may be and really leveraging who you are in every aspect of your wardrobe. And so this might be taking me down another topic for another episode, but the authenticity in your clothing, as you can maybe understand, is sort of the precursor to wearing what you mean to say. That your clothes in your closet really need to speak that authentic voice of who you are. And I'm not suggesting that happens overnight or that it's quick and easy to come up with what does a wardrobe look like that's authentically me, because it takes time. It takes some intentional thought and effort and, as I mentioned, introspection. And it's a lot of what I really love to do in helping guide people through the styling process is helping them uncover what is that theme or that signature style, or what are the ways that you want to express yourself through wardrobe that really do feel authentically like you. In fact, I had a client a few months ago, much earlier in 2021, and the process was really interesting for her because she had a lot of clothes and sort of, as I mentioned, a couple different identities within her clothes. And what I mean by identities is sort of like she had sort of one look that was a little bohemian, another look that tended to feel a bit more sort of buttoned up and, traditional, another look that was more comfort and ease. And so the variety of sort of looks within her closet combined with the volume really made it difficult for her to identify, like, what is my signature style? Like, who do I really feel the most comfortable in my clothes so that I can show up and communicate the messages of my authentic self? And I think for me and her, as we worked together, it was sort of like peeling away the layers of, why do I own this? What is this about? Where do I feel like my most authentic self? What puts me at ease? When did I feel the most beautiful? Can you point to a time or an experience in your life where you just sort of felt super at ease and really like all the things were aligned for you? And what were you wearing when that happened? Those are the experiences I try to draw from when I work with clients to really unpack a look or a style, or helping them identify a color palette and all the various things that are important as you really work to identify that authentic style. So I'm sharing that because, as I said, it's a sort of a precursor to wearing what you mean to say. And when you have a closet that is full of authentic clothing, that really any number of things you could draw from would really work and would really allow you to show up as that authentic self, it becomes so much easier, right? The decisions are simpler. You may feel more confident. The efficiency factor is certainly there, but also just the ease of being able to draw from those clothes in a way that you'll show up as yourself. So I really hope that you can think about the next time you're maybe standing in front of your closet and you're ready to go somewhere or do something, or even in the virtual space if you're looking to show up and meet someone. Just make sure that you think for a second and pause. Even just, like I said, 15, 20, 30 seconds. Do a little check-in with yourself. How you feeling? What do you need? What's important today? And is there a piece in your closet as you sort of scan that says, yeah, that matches sort of what I need today? And that to me will ensure and confirm that you will wear what you mean to say. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Thanks so much for listening today. If you enjoyed what you've heard, I would appreciate you taking the time to leave a review on the podcasting platform you're using, and share this episode with others who you think might really enjoy these conversations about personal style. For more information all about MFD Style services, you can find me on the web at mfdstyle.com, on Instagram at mfd_style, where I post almost 5 days a week, or send me an email at maria@mfdstyle.com. I also have a weekly email I send to subscribers, so I will include the link to that sign up in the show notes. So until next time, friends, remember to love yourself and then love yourself some more.